One.
Right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. My name is Joshua Van Sleckman, and I take this opportunity and thank you for joining us. Before we bring to you the news in details, let me turn my attention to the front page of the Kaieteur News, and of course, that's right. Let me just turn our attention to the front page of the Kaieteur News, of which is titled Guyana is We Own. To you the front page of the Kaieteur News. To whom does Guyana belong? Who really are the owners of this country and its wealth? We raise these questions in context of the surrendering of Guyana's sovereignty to the foreign multinationals. These foreign companies are being provided with an open license to plunder our wealth and to enjoy benefits way over and above that we, the people, the owners of Guyana wealth, enjoy. Every Guyanese who earn an income is required to pay taxes. The rice farmer is supposed to pay taxes. The small miner jiggling for a few ounces of gold has to pay his taxes. Those who mine for diamonds have to pay taxes. Those who work in government offices have to pay taxes. So why should foreign companies be exempted from paying taxes while exploiting the very resources on which you and me, the owners of Guyana's wealth, have to pay taxes? Something is wrong here. The average worker has to pay taxes on his or her income, while some foreign workers are exempted. So who really owns Guyana and its resources? The people of the foreign companies? We are not only being robbed of our resources, but so are our unborn children and grandchildren. Guyanese, it is time to take a stand against the violation of our rights. And now for the top stories we are tracking this morning. Culture responsible for Chinese worker being treated differently, according to Aurora Gold Mines. Raptor gas pipeline spark Hughes eyes a fire in Mexico's water. And how would Guyana cope if it suffers similar fate with Exxon gas project? International lawyer asks. Leak tape exposes Exxon's duplicity on climate change. And now for the news in details. We take this opportunity once again and saying welcome down to Kaieteur Radio. Mexican authorities were on Friday last at pain to extinguish a boiling eye of fire that erupted in the Gulf waters. The inferior was sparked after an underwater gas pipeline was ruptured. Mexican state-controlled oil company Pemex said on Friday that it had dispatched fire-control boats to pump more water over the flames. The national oil company reported no injuries from the incident in the offshore field. While the extent of the environmental damage in the Gulf water is unknown, as investigation continues, the situation is one that has left many Guyanese, locally and abroad, wondering if the PPPC government would even be prepared enough to handle such a situation where it to occur rather, with ExxonMobil's $900 million gas to shore project. Specifically making this concern known was international lawyer Melinda Janke. In an invited comment, Janke said a pipeline for associated gas is not only a total waste of money for Guyana, but the fire in the Gulf of Mexico shows that it can also be extremely dangerous venture. You're listening to us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM, and this is your main newscast for today, Sunday the 4th of July. A leaked recording of an interview with an ExxonMobil lobbyist has exposed the American oil company's duplicity on climate change. The interview was done by an undercover reporter attached to Greenpeace, a non-governmental environmental organization established since 1971 with offices in over 55 countries. The organization, since its genesis, has been dedicated to peaceful protests and creative exposure of global environmental problems. In an interview that has gone viral, Keith McCoy, one of Exxon's top lobbyists, is heard saying that the oil company supports carbon tax is nothing more than a public relations stunt that is intended to decrease the actions aimed at curbing climate change. He dropped a bombshell statement: carbon tax is never going to happen. A carbon tax is imposed on companies that burn carbon-based fuels, including coal, oil, gasoline, and natural gas. Following the release of the interview, ExxonMobil's chairman and chief executive officer Darren Woods rushed to the damage control, and he said in a statement that McCoy's comment does not represent his company's views. We tell you now that the Xingming Group, a Chinese company operating the Aurora gold mines, has stated that the reason why its Guyanese employees are being treated differently from the Chinese employees is because of their different culture practices. The statement was made by the company's Director of Corporate Offices, Compliance and Government Relations, Peter Benny, in response to a claim made by AGM's local employees that were being treated differently from the Chinese. Responding to these complaints, Benny, on behalf of the Chinese company, stated that the differences in certain culture practices or habits have led to the establishment of a different kitchen for the Chinese expatriates. The company further justified the move by stating that the food preparation, cooking, and serves are vastly different to the Guyanese style, and to avoid confrontations and conflicts, it was the best choice of management to establish a separate lunchroom. In addition to the differences in cultures, the Chinese group posited that the COVID-19 requirements has influenced its decision as well. The company did not directly respond to claims concerning differences in the quality of food and the availability of napkins and other items provided to local and the Chinese. It, however, denied that it's serving poor quality food to its worker, causing some to suffer from food poisoning. Finally, at this time, the Environmental Protection Agency on Friday withdrew a charge against the owner of a West Rheinveld auto body workshop owner. The charge was withdrawn by lawyers representing the agency when the matter came up in court on Friday. The withdrawal of the charge came after Kaieteur News publisher Glenn Lal made mention on his radio program, The Glenn Lal Show, of the EPA's move to charge the auto body workshop owner. The publisher questioned EPA's logic behind going after an auto body workshop owner, a small businessman, when big companies like Schlumberger and ExxonMobil continue to pollute the environment by burning garbage and flaring toxic gas in the air. But the EPA is silent. The agency, Lal stress, is not going after the big companies to fine or hold them culpable in any way, but they are harassing a small man. Last month, Anthony Singh, the owner of an auto body workshop, appeared in court charged with breaching the Environmental Protection Act by continuing to operate even though he was prohibited from doing so. And just before we wrap up things here on your main newscast, let me turn my attention to page 7 of the Kaieteur News that is dedicated of being blunt. Almost 1,600 children have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus, and the PPP leaders sat on this and kept it a secret. This is our children's well-being at stake, and it's enraging. No Guyanese should take this sitting down quietly. But this latest development of how the country is being governed is secrecy and with stupidity. With the news about 1,567 children about to go public, President Ali was already ahead of the game. With spin, doctoring, and damage control, Pfizer vaccines are on the way, and children will be the first in line. President Ali has already brushed off the 1,567 children infected and kept secret by pretending at a good vaccine availability news. This is the head of state's idea of transparency, his version of leadership accountability. What do we have here for leaders, if not certifiable fierces and abject failures, who deceive and mislead at every turn? And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Let me remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. I am Joshua Van Sleckman on behalf of the news and technical team, wishing you and your family a great remainder of your Sunday morning. Remember to practice social distancing and to wear